Welcome aboard, Captain.
Welcome back, guys. This is going to be lesson 3. Sorry, I literally rolled out of bed 5 minutes ago, and I don't have to go to work for an hour, so I decided to go ahead and record lesson 3 for you guys. And we'll try to get through this very quickly. Today we're going to be creating our index view and working with traits. And those are absolutely awesome. Traits are amazing, and I'll show you why in just a little bit. All right, so as always, you can follow us on GitHub, JD's web service /tutorial, Laravel to-do list, and it has all of our code here. So far, lesson 1 and 2 have been uploaded, and at the end of this, I'll upload lesson 3. All right, so let's go ahead and open up Terminal here. Now, a few different things from last tutorial. I have switched my terminal program from terminal to what's called iTerm. iTerm2 is a terminal emulator. And the terminal emulator allows me to do a lot more things, like preferences that just terminal doesn't have. I can make profiles and arrangements and advanced stuff and all that stuff. So it's pretty interesting, pretty cool. I'm also using ZSH or OMyZ, I believe is what it's called. ZSH. OMyZSH. It's a really, really cool framework that allows me to have themes for my terminal. They're really, really cool. I'm using Agnoster right now, and so if you guys want to check that out, just go to Robbie Russell /omyzsh or just omyz.sh, and you can install it really, really easily. Just as a word of advice, though, if you're using the agnostic or whatever it was, where the one that I'm using, Agnoster, you do have to get Powerline. You have to get Powerline fonts, and if you go and click on their official repository, they'll teach you how to do all that stuff. So enough of that. Let's get back into Laravel, and so we will open up our terminal here. I'm going to cd into sites, and then I'm going to cd into tutorials, and then what else? What is it called here? To-do list. cd into to-do list. Wonderful. All right. So now let's open this up in Sublime first, and we'll do. Forgot that it wasn't on that page. Okay, cool. And then we'll go ahead and PA serve it. I created the PA alias for PHP Artisan Serve. I'll teach you guys how to do that at a later time as well. So let's get through this here. Let's take a look at our resources views, and let's open up localhost 8000. And that's the index page. Wonderful. And if we go to /create, we can create a task still. That's awesome as well. So clearly we also need to open up our SQL database and take a look at the tutorials.todo, see how many tasks we have. We have 1 task. Let's create one more just to make sure that we have some good tasks here. So we'll just put, this is a test task, and this is a test task description, and the due date is going to be tomorrow. Cool, and we'll create that task. All right, and now we can go back to the index page, and we can go into our resources views, tasks, and we're just going to create a simple index.blade.php file. And once we do that, we're going to extend the layout layouts.main, And then we're going to have a section for title, and that title is going to be, I have that in there, right? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. The title is going to be tasks home, and then section content, and we're going to end that section there. We'll save that, and we'll refresh. Or actually, let's see, is that just outputting that? Oh yeah, cool. Let's go to our HTTP or controllers, tasks controller. The index is just returning a string, that's why, so it's not returning a view. So let's return the view of tasks dot index. Awesome, we'll save that and refresh. Wonderful, and there is our view. So I'm not going to really worry too much about formatting. You guys should already know, if you're this far into advanced learning of object-oriented programming, you guys should already know HTML and CSS. So I am not going to be formatting this very well at all. I'm just doing this simple so we can get through it and move on to our next series. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to our tasks controller, and we have in here in our models, we have the task model. So let's go ahead and grab all the tasks, and we're going to put the tasks inside of a tasks variable. And this is how easy it is to grab all of the entries from our database using models. All we do is just type in task all. That's it. Like, it's that easy, which is absolutely wonderful. So instead of all, you can also do what's called pagination or paginate, and then you can pass in a numerical value. It has to be an integer, not a string, but an integer. So if you wanted to do like 1 on every page, or if you wanted to do 100 on every page, whatever that is, that's completely up to you. So we're just going to go with paginate, and we're going to go with 5. And then we have to pass that tasks variable into our view. And how we do that is we just put with tasks, and then the second parameter is the tasks variable. Now there's 2 ways to do this. You can do with, and then give 2 parameters such as we did here, or you can do with tasks and then just pass in the tasks variable here. So either of these still create the same exact thing. Notice that the very first letter of the variable is capitalized here. So if you put capital T, tasks, then it will automatically in the view make that T lowercase, which is absolutely awesome. So just for simplicity reasons and not to confuse you guys with the semantics of that, we're just going to leave it as the first one here, and that's it. There's our tasks. It's all good to go. So we'll save that. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to show you my my traits. So we will go to here. Awesome. So a trait, we're going to look at our task here, because whenever we output our created at date or our updated at date, what we want is a returned value of like 5 minutes ago, and not actually a time and a date. So the easiest way that we're going to do this is we're going to actually use a trait, and there's already traits being used that you probably didn't even realize. There are let's see here. If we did not get rid of our authentication middleware, We'll throw this over here. If we did not get rid of our authentication middleware, I just pulled this over in from another project. Authentication middleware uses the authenticates users trait. Okay, so there are traits upon traits upon traits being used all the time when you're using Laravel. So we're going to create a trait, and we're going to put this in our HTTP folder, and we're just going to make a new folder called traits. And inside that traits folder, we're going to make a new file called timestampstrait.php. No blade, just .php. All right, so let's open up our PHP. Let's make sure that we have our namespace correct. Our namespace is going to be apps/http/traits, and our let's see here. Our trait is going to be called timestamps trait, and we're just going to open it up into an object. All right, so the first thing that we need to do whenever we're working with timestamps and models, because we're going to be calling this timestamps trait into all of our models. So you can do this a couple of different ways. I'm not going to show you on the Laravel documentation. You're basically using Carbon. So the first thing that we need to do is define if the model should be timestamped or not. So we're going to assign this a public variable timestamps, and we're going to equal true on that. All right, this isn't necessary if you do not have, if you don't have timestamps, like in your migration, if you didn't put the timestamps, the very last line, you would set this to false. But since we are using timestamps, we are going to have it set. So we're also going to define another public function called getDates. And this is just going to return an array of values, so of the two column names that we're going to be using, which is created at and then updated at. And these are the two, anytime that you have a date in there, that's when you would want it. So we're just using this for timestamps. We're not going to be using this for our due date. All right, so the next thing is we need to define our get created at attribute and get updated attribute. So I am going to do 2 lines at once, and we're going to do public function get created at attribute, because this entire thing is going to be exactly the same. I'm just going to change the second one later. So what we want to do is we want to return Carbon. We're going to bring that in here in just a second. Parse. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to parse this attribute, which is the model's attribute of created at, and we are going to go and we also pass another method called diff for humans. So diff for humans. So that basically means it's easily readable, so that it looks like 5 minutes ago, and rather instead of the the actual time and date and all that stuff. So we're going to take this created at, and we're just going to put updated at, and this is going to be updated at. All right, and let's see here. I believe that's all of that. And the spelled attribute is correct. Cool. So we have our timestamps trait. And we have we're going to go into our model, and we're just going to put use timestamps trait. And we're going to use PHP companion, and we are going to find that and import timestamps trait right there. Now the other thing we also need to make sure is that we're importing our task model. So if you haven't already done that, make sure you're doing that, and click on save. And then we're going to go back into our index. And this is going to be really, really, really simple. all we're doing is we're doing a for each loop. For each tasks as task. That's simple. We're using Blade for this. So for end for each. Wow, I can't type today. End for each. And all we're going to do is we have, let's see here, we have name, description, due date, and created at. So we're just going to create a new, or wrap this in a container. Or wait, doesn't my layer already have a container? Yeah, okay, cool. So we don't need that. We just need the row. Okay, so row, and we're going to have a call small of 12. And actually, you know what? Let's do 6 times 2. No, let's just do 12. Keep it simple. All right. I don't know why I did that. All right, cool. And so we're going to output using our Blade helper here. We're going to output task, and then we're going to give the name. And this is all going to be wrapped in an H3. I don't really like H1s. I think they're too big. I don't know why. I just don't like them. And then the description. So we're going to go ahead and output the task description. And we're going to put that in a paragraph tag. And then we are going to also put inside of our H3, we are going to put the created at time. So, but we're going to wrap that in a small tag, and it'll make it a little bit smaller. So task created at, and then we also need the due date. Let's see here. Do H4? Yeah, H4 is fine. And then we're going to do task due date. And then we are going to have an HR tag at the very bottom. We're going to save that, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to create a row. We're going to create a column of 12 width. In our H3 tag, we're going to have our name. We're going to have our created at. We are going to have an HR tag to break things up a little bit. We're going to have our task description and our task due date. And yes, it's due_date. Wonderful. And then at the very end, before we loop back through, we're going to put another HR, and that's going to be that. All right, so let's see how it looks. Refresh. In our timestamps trait, we forgot to import carbon. So let's go ahead and timestamps trait. We forgot to import carbon. I thought I did that. My bad. And this is going to be carbon, not illuminate support carbon. I'm not sure if either one matters, but I like using carbon because it just makes it easier, smaller. All right, boom, there we go. So test task 1 second ago. Test. This shouldn't be 1 second ago though. So let's take a look at. Let's see. That was created 9/26 about a week ago. So why is? Oh, you know what? I think I screwed up the timestamps traits. Created at get created at attribute. Created at difference for humans. And task created at. I don't understand why that is pulling from there. That should be. All right, let's go ahead and open up our task model. We'll go ahead and comment that out real quick, and we'll refresh and see. Okay, so that should be less than 1 hour ago. So hold on a sec. Maybe I copied this wrong. Let's go back to our tasks or timestamps trait, and let's see here. Oh, that's why. Okay. So it's not attribute, it's actually attributes. And I always mess that up. Okay, cool. So we'll save that, and then we'll refresh, and then it'll say 1 week ago and 15 minutes ago. Awesome. So that is traits, that is tasks. Really, really simple. Now, this paginate thing, you guys are probably wondering, like, okay, how does this work, right? And you know what? That looks absolutely awful. So we're going to take out this second HR here. All right. And so how does this paginate work? Well, we only have 2 things in our database, so let's put 1 on each page, right? We'll go back to our index, and outside of our for each loop, we're just going to do a row, and that is going to be justify content center, and then we are going to put a call of 6, and that's going to be text center, and then we are going to just output. This is really easy, right? Tasks. We're using the plural here. Tasks, links. Save it. Refresh. Boom. Now we have our pagination links. They're automatically handled for us. If we click on 2, it goes to the next one. Click on 1, goes back to the first one. So that's actually like really, really simple, really easy to do. Though I'm not sure. Call small 6 text center row. Maybe I typed something wrong. Let's take a look here, because that type of stuff bugs me. Yeah. So we need pagination dot pagination to be text center. So we'll just add, because we have right here in our bootstrap, right after our bootstrap, we'll just add pagination text center, or text align center. Or what? How did I do that? Hold on. 1 sec. All right, so it's actually justify content center. All right. And refresh. Boom. Now it's in the middle. Wonderful. All right. So now we have our index page all set up. We have all of this, the layout and everything else. Now, like I said, this is a really simple layout. Not much to go into here. The reason being is because I'm not going to take the time. It's already been about 30 minutes since I started this recording. So you guys can do whatever you wish for the styles. I'm just trying to show you the functionality of how to get things from the database, put them into our view, and output them. Now, whenever you pass in multiple indexes or multiple entries from the database, always create a plural of the model. So it's going to be tasks. Now, if I was just finding one specific thing, it would be just task equals task find, and then I would pass in the ID. Okay. So that you would not have to do for each loop. Okay. Because you're only passing just a single task. And then you would be able to just basically get rid of this for each line, get rid of this for each line, and then that single task, you can just start using your blade and outputting the variables and stuff like that. So, all right, this is going to be it for today. Sorry that it's taken me like over a week in order to get this stuff done. I actually have a conference call at 11 o'clock this morning. I actually, for those of you who are not following me on Twitter, I am going to Memphis, Tennessee on October 17th, and I will be there until November 4th. So, I'm going to be traveling there for work, and I need to, obviously focus on work while I'm down there, but I am going to be bringing my microphone down there with me, so that way I can record on my 2 days off, which will be Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I believe. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten my schedule yet, but yeah, I should be off Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so you guys should be seeing some more videos coming out soon. And like I said, if you're not following me on Twitter, then you probably should, because I give you all the information that you need about when the new release is up and when everything is coming out. Also, if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. That helps me as a channel keep motivated to making these videos. I'm not asking you guys to donate any of your money, anything like that. All I want is just a simple button click. Real easy. So smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and as always, happy coding. See ya.